Shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace, love, and blessings on this Shabbat Saturday. Doing amazing things today. Man, got a good topic. Just waiting for people to chime in so we can go ahead and get this thing going. And you know, King Conversations, baby. And we're going to wait a little bit, wait for people to chime in, and then we're going to get this thing started. There we go. Doing good. I'm also live on Facebook and also live on Rumble, as well as YouTube. So, you know, taking it to another level. Not, you know, we know what time it is and we know what type of time we on. So with that being said, we just gonna have fun with it. You know, my fan page, my Facebook fans page is still getting under construction right now, getting that underway. So hopefully it should be done soon. You know, got my rings up here. 7-time champion. And it just goes to, when we talk about hard work, when we talk about giving it all that you got, putting it all on the line, when we talk about sacrificing and hard work, when we talk about in order for yourself, in order for, let me put it in a better perspective, the best version of yourself can be seen by many. You got to put in that work. You have to be willing to put in that work. Most are not willing to put in that work. Some give up, or right in the thick of things, they have a change of mind, fear. You got jealousy. You have all of these things that play a factor. And you just have some individuals, they just want to be where they at, because that's comfortable for them. Well, in 2025, quitting isn't an option. There's no excuses. It's consistency. You have to be consistent in all that you do and say. Okay? This video was brought to me. You know, I know that Grant Hill and the R&B singer Tamia, they've been married for some time now. But I wanted to chime in. I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to bring this on the show, King Conversations, and just talk about the art of love. Knowing your partner, you know, and having an understanding that only you two know about. Sometimes it's not about everybody else, you know? So, without further ado, they got something to say. I got something to say. Then the spirit of the universe going to take us home. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet, and let's get this work.
Find the right person, and, you know, you got to hook me up. And I was just, you know, just being silly with her and her husband. So I think like a week later.
We're going to rewind it back. Okay, we're going to rewind it back to how did they first meet. Okay.
So Isaiah Thomas, you guys know who Isaiah Thomas is, Pistons. So it was his jersey retirement ceremony in Detroit, and Anita Baker was there to sing the national anthem.
Shout out to Bush
And
Coffee.
after the game, there was a little reception, and so Anita was being nosy and asking me about my love life. And I was just like, you know, I just can't find the right person, and, you know, you got to hook me up. And I was just, you know, just being silly with her and her husband. So I think like a week later, she saw you at the Soul Train Music Awards, and then found out Tamia was from Windsor, which is right close to Detroit. So she kind of planted the seed.
Yeah. She came up to me, and I'm a huge Anita Baker fan. And so Anita Baker's coming up to me at the Soul Train Music Awards. I'm like, yes, you know my name. And she's like, Tamia, I know this guy that would be perfect for you. His name is Grant Hill. And I was just like, this is so strange. And then that was really it. That was really all she said. She kind of just dropped his name and put his name in my spirit, I guess. And then we ended.
Isn't it amazing how a person can put something good in your spirit and it just resonates and sit there, you know, when it grows? You know, when it's almost like that very first time when you saw that person that you like, the person gave you butterflies, you just felt like a 2-year-old, you know? And it was just something about that person that touched you in such a way. Some say, man, do you believe at love at first sight? Yeah, I do. I do, actually. I believe that the way the universe works, you don't know who, when, or how the universe is going to put that person in your life, how that person's going to open up the doors, you know? The universe can use a bad situation to make way for a good situation. You know, use a bad relationship or marriage and opened up the doors for a good relationship or good marriage. An individual just has to be open, available, and willing to receive. Let's continue.
Ended up meeting a couple months later, I guess.
Wait a minute. We got a clip for that.
Uh-oh.
It's crazy that we actually ended up together. So my boys, they're kind of, some of them are living with me, some of them are living in Detroit, but they all grew up with me. And so the one night they want to go out and I don't go. And so they go out, they go to this after party. And then one of my boys calls me from the party and said, hey man, you should have come through, blah, blah, blah. We had a good time and there's a lot going on. Hey, Tamia's here. So I said, okay, give her my number and keep so-and-so away from her. And so that was like, that's what I instructed my friend to do. I said, but just give her because first of all, I didn't think she would really call, because how do you know it's me?
Yeah.
You know, some dudes come up and say, hey, so-and-so's on the phone, put you in, give it to her. So I just kind of thought nothing of it, whatever, okay, fine. So then later that night, she calls. And then we ended up talking pretty much all the way till the morning. Yeah, it was interesting, the timing.
Here's the thing, excuse me. Listen to what he says. He gave her, he took the first step, initiating the number. Okay? So now the ball is in her court. You know, some say the man has to make the first move, the woman. Look, damn that. She made the first move and she called. What I've always said on my show is that I see more people, and I see getting some people chiming in on Rumble. Here's the thing. A person that goes after what they want is never alone. It doesn't matter about who makes the first move or who has to take the initiative, this and that and the third. When you know, you're going to shoot that shot. You're not even going to shoot the shot. You're going to slam dunk it. And that's what happened with Grant Hill and Tamia. You see, They didn't follow all of that. Man has to have this status. Men have to have all these high expectations. Women too. It wasn't even about that. But she giving you some gold, pure gold.
When we met like in May, which was sort of the end of the basketball season, or the end of, my team didn't go too far in the playoffs, so it was the end of the season. And then we still, even during the season, I felt like we saw each other a lot. She would come to Detroit. I would I don't even know how I did it. I would literally after practice, take a flight from Detroit to LA and get to LA at 4:30, 5 o'clock, then hang out, go out to eat, and then take a red eye back to Detroit and then be in practice the next morning.
Yeah.
So I definitely want you guys to share a little bit about that party night and you calling him. But I love that clip because it shows what a man is willing to do when he's serious. I love that clip. So tell me about, you called this Grant Hill person that his random friends came up to you and gave you his number.
It was like a industry party or something, and I was actually very tired. I'd gone to visit my family in Windsor, and the person who was running it said, I was hosting some singing night it was like a Motown talent search or something, and they were like, we have this little party, we want you to come over. And, I don't know, Windsor is like the border, right, of Detroit, so I'd have to go through customs and do all that stuff, and I was kind of like, no, I don't feel like it. And he was like, you should come. So I was like, fine. So I went, and then your friends came up, and I thought it was quite weird and awkward, and they were like, yeah, my boy's on the phone. You want to talk to him? And I was just like, this is weird, but okay.
I can understand that, and I can understand that. Awkward situations is awkward, but I'm gonna make a point of all of this. So I'm gonna let her continue to speak, and then I'm gonna make a point of all of this. But something that was awkward turned out to be a blessing.
Okay, and then we just kind of spoke on the phone and agreed to speak later, right?
She was at a party.
Yeah.
And literally, at a party there's noise, and so we're on the phone, and I don't know how she thought it was me.
Right.
But I did. I had crazy games. So,
oh my God.
So my lyrics were just, they were on point. And so, she called me later that night. How would she know though it's me? Imagine if you're out and about and somebody just comes up and says, I'm joking when I say that, first of all, I had no game, but somebody gives you a phone and says, this is so-and-so.
Yeah,
you have no idea that that's that person. And that's what I meant by that. And so she called, and we spoke for, hours.
Yeah.
And then, we went out on a date the next day, went to the movies, and then we went to have lunch.
Yeah.
And
early.
I've
early because, first date, you gotta go.
Yeah, early dinner. And so I purposely left my wallet.
Was it on purpose?
Well, yeah, I pretend. Well, anyway, I didn't have any money.
Yeah. That's true.
And so I wanted to see what would happen. And we didn't have to do dishes.
No, I was like, get whatever you want. What do you want? Get whatever you want.
Yeah, so she paid for it.
And he's been paying ever since.
I've been paying ever since. That's it.
I got the first one. You got life.
Let me just say, again, it didn't matter. Their first date, they went to the movies. Okay. We're talking about Grant Hill and Tamia, okay? We're talking about, man, nobody didn't have to drop no $500,000 on a first date. They went to the movies and lunch and kept it simple. Regardless if he paid or she paid, that didn't matter. what was the main thing of all of this? Spending time together, enjoying each other's presence. Oftentimes, it doesn't matter what community you come from or who you are. We have to take it back to the basics. We have to take it back to that very, very first time where it didn't matter about where we went. It didn't matter about what we did, long as we were together. And in this generation, the dating scene has definitely shifted. We didn't start seeing a shift in the dating market until what, 2003? That's when we started noticing a shift. And now with the generation that is here, it makes dating challenging. Because now you're dealing with different characteristics, different mentalities, different mindsets, different situations. And when you look back at our ancestors, since a large number of individuals want to have conversations about our ancestors, look how much in love they were in. Regardless of the situations, they stuck together. They knew in a marriage, you're going to have storms. In a relationship, you're going to have storms. You will know what type of person you with in the midst of a storm. I'm like, look, that's like football. You'll know if a person has experience or not. Get caught up in the trenches. Is that person going to be a team player or a selfish player? Because a team player, the coaches teach us how to play together as a unit, have each other's back, trust each other, even in the midst of chaos. Well, guess what? It's that same analogy even in a relationship and or marriage. Not only is a partnership, but we a team. All right? All right.
Wait, you like literally left it? Like, what if she was like, nah, I'm out? Like, what would you do?
Yeah, no, I mean, I had my wallet because you got to go across customs,
okay.
but I just left it in my car. Just, I don't know. I was just seeing what she would do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was a little irresponsible back then. So yes.
Well, so one of the reasons that we feel, having created the show, that it's really important to tell the how did you meet, right? Is because the show itself is about marriage and like how to make a marriage work, but I think that a lot of times we feel like the meeting, the dating process has to be perfect. Like, everything has to happen a certain way. And so we just like to share, those sorts of stories where things don't always go right, or really just the nuance of whatever each couple has gone through. And then also deciding, how do you decide that this person is the one? One of the things you said in the trailer was she's attractive, you're compatible, and she can cook. What were the things for you two that made you like, oh, I could actually be with this person forever?
We've watched that trailer a lot, and then there was a second half of that where I set him up. I can't really cook. I just made one thing.
Wait. You never admitted that to us.
Oh, really? That was the whole thing.
He insinuated.
Let me just tell you. We were. I remember we were in Bel Air, and she made this bomb French toast, and I was like, wow, I could marry her. And I haven't seen that French toast since.
Again, it goes back to opposites attract. It goes back to two individuals having an understanding that only they know about, okay? I got a partner, he cooks. His wife doesn't cook, but he cooks. He's a damn good cook too. However, that doesn't take away from their marriage because they are still a team. You see, what works for them may not work for the next person, and vice versa. That's why even when it comes to dating and having those preferences, there's nothing wrong with a man or woman having a dating preference, long as that dating preference is realistic. Okay? Date whoever you want to date, marry whoever you want to marry. If that person loves you, treats you right, and accepts you, and is willing to work with you and ride with you, it's a win-win. You see? A large number of people want to eat the cake, but they don't want to help make it. And that's where the challenge is. You want to eat an already made cake. It don't work that way. But if you got two people willing to bake the cake together, now you got something. You see me? Now you got something. Now the juice is worth the squeeze. Now it's worth putting in that time. Now the relationship is worth building. Now the marriage is worth building. Because in the process, the both of you are discovering things about each other that you didn't discover, that you didn't know before. And that's just simply being honest, open, and clear about what you need from the individual in a relationship and or marriage. And there's nothing wrong with seeking counseling before marriage, so that the both of you, if the both of you have some unfinished business in your past, y'all can take the time to deal with that together, heal together. Okay? Because when you have the right person that the Most High has put in front of you in your presence, in your life, and that person has shown you, together you have shown each other that this is what the both of you want, then the Most High is going to give you the tools that you need. Run tell that. Let's continue the feast.
He even asked the kids, like, have mom make that French toast. The kids are like, no, we don't even like French toast. So. But that was it. That's all I could.
But you didn't tell us. Like, he said that, but you made
You
it
pretended
seem
like it was
No,
just
I
that.
definitely can't cook. We don't.
You know she was already.
Got him, coach.
Yeah.
She was already in.
Yeah, my cooking skills are not good at all. I can make a few things like breakfast, but I don't know. Like, I think we said in the documentary, like, it wasn't like I was thinking, I want to get married, I want to find someone. I was kind of starting in my career, and we were just really dating, and we really just enjoyed spending time with each other, and it was easy and fun, and we were both kind of just relaxed around each other. And
that's what we're missing. That is what it's missing in today's dating world. That right there. Enjoying spending time with one another. It just seems like in today's dating world, everything has become so transactional. Okay? Things have become so transactional to the point where not only creating division, but a dislikeness within the same community. Why is there so much division within the same community? I get it. You got problems. Each and every community has their own problems. And you got problems and issues in others as well. But when you talk about the Black community, there's so much division and it's like so much hatred. Why? And if so, why did it get this far? Why did it go into an unknown place where it didn't need to go? I mean, granted, social media has a lot to do with it. The entertainment industry has a lot to do with it. Music and so forth, that and the third have a lot to do with it. Outside influences, childhood issues has a part to play in it. Because the next clip that I'm gonna share with y'all, you're gonna see a 360 shift. You're about to see a 360 shift. But this is the point. This is the part where we have to work on finding our way back to love, finding our way back to each other, finding our way back to respect, finding our way back to that place where we set eyes on each other. We were like two kids in the candy store. We loved each other. We love each other like a fat kid loved candy and cake. Or ribs and cake. Let's continue.
And I think that's kind of, it just evolved.
What made you want to go to LA every other day or every couple of days while you were practicing?
Well, no, it wasn't every other. I mean, it was.
That would be way too
Yeah, it was a lot. No, but I mean, it was tough. I mean, we met in the summer. We spent a lot of time. I was in California. You were here for the Olympics, so we were in Atlanta. This was summer of '96, and then I went back before the season started and spent some time. And then you went and did a movie for like 2 or 3 months in the Caribbean, Speed 2. And so we went a long period without seeing each other. And so, when you're a basketball player, the season just consumes you. And so, obviously, to me, it would come out to visit in Detroit, and her family was nearby. But, there's some wolves out there in LA, so I had to go out there and just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to just make sure.
Hey, I can understand where he's coming from, playing pro ball. Yeah, it's time consuming because it's a job. Yeah, I signed up for it. We all know what we're signing up for, as an athlete. And it's being able to have that balance. I believe that most individuals got to have a balance. Being able to balance, work time, leisure time. And then my leisure time, whether I have time to myself or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, there needs to be a balance, And if an individual doesn't have balance, it's going to be hard. You have some individuals working 2 jobs, but thinking they can still date. Let me know how that worked for you. So there has to be a balance. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad or wrong thing. It's just that if an individual chooses to work 2 jobs, then there's going to be some consequences in the dating department for you. It's going to be a challenge. I can understand if you had 1 job, the other individual had 1 job, and y'all was able to see each other. I don't care if it's morning, noon, or night. Long as the both of you are willing to spend time with each other. That's what it comes down to. Certain situations may not permit and allow for us to go out to dinner and a movie like we would want to. That don't mean we can't see each other. One of us can cook a home-cooked meal and invite the other over. What's wrong with that? Or as soon as one get off work, get some takeout, hey, pull up. There's other alternatives to compensate and complement the situation. And I know different people see things differently. Hey, I understand that. But at some point, we have to be willing to meet in the medium. We have to be willing to meet in the middle. Are you willing to meet in the middle? Are you willing to meet me where I stand and vice versa? Certain situations and things doesn't always have to end up or mean negative. I know we've all had bad dating experiences. There's some out there that have had bad marriage experiences. But sometimes it's those bad experiences that make way and open up the door for the good. It all depends on how you decipher it. It all comes down to your mindset about it. Has learning life lessons given you a different outlook on life and love, even marriage? I know that it has for me. I know that learning life lessons and healing has definitely gave me a different outlook on marriage. Now I know how to choose better. You see? Because I was able to look at within myself. Sometimes we have to look at what part we play. But on the other side of that coin, sometimes you can do all the right things, but do it for the wrong person. Yeah.
Sure, she remembers my face, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, but I mean, I think seriously though, when you're, I guess we're at that point. I mean, it did just sort of happen. Well, it's funny. So we met and we hung out. We hung out in Detroit. Then I went out to LA. And then at some point, you know, and it's always at that point where you, okay, what are we? Where are you going? So I remember a couple of things. One, we're in LA and she had a Range Rover and we're driving around all the time and Toni Braxton's album was out. And she would always sing, "I love me some him." And so I'm like, all right, she's trying to, like, what is she, you know, but she's always singing. So like, I'm not, and so at one point I was just like, I think we were getting ready for the Olympics and I remember calling her and I was like, so, you know, let's just define what this is. Like, am I just your Detroit piece? Like, what's the
said
deal?
those exact words.
And
too.
I said it right, exact words. And so at that, can't believe I said that.
She said it.
But I did say that. But no, I mean, I think fast forward, yeah, I mean, just when you fall in love and you want to be with that person, like I didn't think either, like I would want to be married. We were young. She was 21, I was 23. I thought I would, you know, go the Derek Jeter route. Like that was, you know, date and just have fun and wait till I was done playing. And, you know, so it didn't necessarily go according to script. But that sounds
Your
mean.
script is much better.
Yeah, this script is better. But no, it just happens. You know, it happened and you want to be with that person. You want to, you know, you miss her. So you'll go to those lengths.
I think if you want to know, I'm putting in all this effort, what is this?
Right.
You know, before we keep going any further, we're both going out of our way for each other. Where is this going?
Yeah, I find it interesting because we didn't know this, that you said, "Where is this going?"
Yeah.
The fact that when it comes to a man knowing, a man is going to verbalize that, just as Grant Hill did. And what can you say? It's like, wait a minute. How Grant Hill and to me are describing their marriage is something totally different than the rhetoric that we hear on social media today. Because there's so much negative being spent and put out there. about what a man is, what a woman is, so much negative. But when you hear two beautiful souls as Grant Hill and Tamia talk about how they met, how they connected, does it give hope? Or it opens up the doors for a whole lot of things to discover. It not only discover, but it basically puts you in one of those positions to where, man, the more I work on myself and the more I put myself in a certain position to be seen by many, okay, I can attract and draw to me. It's the law of attraction. What you put out in the universe going to give you that. You see? And he wasn't ready. It was an awkward situation. Things was different. But all in all, it turned into a blessing. They still together. They're holding on strong. They didn't lean in with their status. They didn't lean in with their money. They didn't lean in with their education. They didn't lean in with their degrees. They leaned in being honest, open, clear, and having fun, spending time together. And look how it grew.
No, I did. Yeah, I just wanted to make
When
sure.
a man knows what he wants. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I do want to point out, though, that we meet a lot of couples, but a lot of the times we do find the woman either A, introduces herself, or speaks to the man first, or B, says, hey, I'm not just dating you to date you. Like, I'm serious about settling down. So I do like to share that too, because a lot of times we have a lot of women that watch our show, and so I think it's important for us to feel empowered too, but I also think it's adorable.
Well, let me just, I said that and I was kind of being funny, but it did feel natural from the time we met. And that was what was interesting because, at least for me, I hadn't felt that way. So from that very first date, from that first conversation and everything afterwards, it just felt right. I don't know if there was ever a point where we were like, you're my girl, can we go steady or whatever. It just kind of was, if that makes sense.
Everything came together organically. And that's what we're missing. Everything being organic. And when it comes to things being organic, I don't know. It works in a way. We all look at things differently. With a third eye on that one. But now we're going to switch reels a little bit here. Now, what we're about to notice here, we're about to notice a shift. Now, we went from one topic, well, still on the same topic, but we went from Grant Hill and Tamia. Now, we're going to talk about, Tiana Taylor? Okay? And I'm not going to mess the brother's name up, Amari Shrimp. If I'm not mistaken, brother played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're about to dive into what they're going through. And we're going to see the disconnect. We're going to see not just the disconnect, the disrespect and how you can have something, you can have a solid foundation, you can have a strong, solid foundation, but it blows up. And when it blows up, it blows up. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's go.
Topic, the divorce that is shocking the internet right now being finalized in the family court, and it is the final decision. All right.
But I just want you to imagine what it feel like to have a woman that you took care of and her daughter in a courtroom telling all the home's business. Everything happened in your home, she telling it for profit.
Iman Shumpert has to make a one-time 7-figure payment to Tiana. He has to pay $8,000 per month in child support and cover 100% of the kids' private school fees. She also gets to keep all her jewelry, 100% ownership of both of her businesses, TaylorMade and Aunties.
Come on, bro. She took everything. She took everything, bro. Plus, you still gotta pay child support. Huh?
My whole thing with that, listen, you know, people have they spin on things or whatnot have you. But to me, it should have been better. It should have been different. It should have went different. Now, regardless, he cheated, she cheated, whatever the case may be, getting divorced in California can cost you. It can cost you. And I'm with Ron DeSantis on this one. I see why he eliminated long-term alimony. You know, but in any event, you have to be willing to protect yourself and protect your assets. Because in this situation here, he does not win. And what kind of, you know, we want to talk about it. We'll talk about it.
She took all his money.
I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes like, is this really happening? You know what I'm saying? I'm still only human. I talk shit or whatever, but I'm only human when a woman will go to the system with the family business. That's your nightmare. Because you were never in control if a doing that. Homie, you don't realize the worst thing that God put on this planet until they set you out to the system.
You don't know what type of person you have until your hind parts ends up in a storm. Okay? You do not know what type of individual you have until you find your hind parts in a storm. Now, we just went from Grand Hill and Tamia to this. You see the difference. I'm playing both clips and we having a conversation about both clips for a reason. Pay attention.
It's just, the reality is, the statistics show that men are more loyal. We don't leave. 80% of divorce filings are by women.
80%?
80%. In our community, in black communities, 80%. In the larger community, it's around 75%. So if you look at the fact that marriages, meaning offer to marry, almost 100% are initiated by men. Whether or not women want it or not, we initiate. We have to propose. You'll accept.
And let me just say this. You have a lot of men that will fight for their marriage. You have a lot of men that will fight tooth and nail for their marriage. I'm one of them. I fought and fought and fought. 2 mild heart attacks. I fought. Homeless, still had to work. I fought. So you have some men that will fight for their marriage. And you have some women that have like, you know, I've checked out. You can't act like this don't exist. You can't act like this it don't happen. There are a lot of people that go through this exact same thing. And those are the same individuals that find the strength and then pull it together and make it through. Again, when life happens and we all go through storms, we gonna have it. It's a part of life. Okay? But you gotta know your teammate. You gotta know that no matter what we go through, we got each other's back. We're gonna pull through. A family that prays together stays together. And when you stay close to that type of code, you're gonna make it through anything. And we're seeing a large number of individuals not pulling through. We see a large number of individuals just giving up. But then you have to go deeper. Why is that individual giving up on their marriage or relationship? Why is that individual giving up? What's really going on? Like law enforcement, we rule out nothing. We bring everything and put it on the table. We bring all the possibilities and lay it out on the table. And then we sit back and we examine each and every thing that we put on that table of what could be or what was the cause. You have folks starting to get up in age. Ain't nobody got time for all that new dating and new this and new that. Find that person you was with and you better work it out. Because, again, it's going to be a long day trying to find new love and to open up and trust and be vulnerable and etc. Especially when the individual didn't do anything to you. And y'all know what I mean. So when you know that marriage or relationship has ended, my advice to be, it don't matter who you are. Go back to that person that was good to you. Sit down like two adults and make that thing work. Hash out your differences and make it work.
Women control access to who has sex, and women have final say on who gets born. Men control access to relationship. If men are initiating marriages at 100% rate nearly, but divorces are initiated at a 75 to 80% rate, those numbers are massively out of balance. 100% over here, and women are leaving these marriages that they say they want almost 80% of the time. Even if we said of the divorces that are filed, fully 50%, half, are for some of the worst, most abhorrent human treatment a man could ever do to a woman. Something that no one could stand for. That would still be 4 out of 10. And that's still twice as many as men.
Child support, alimony. This is who collecting your income without you being around and makes it. How do you get another family if your money is going into this pocket where she get to do what she want to do with it?
Yeah.
Divorce is the worst shit ever when you got a that want to set you out to the system. I tell every man out there that's going through this, you ain't going through it by yourself. These bitches turn into straight up stool pigeons for profit.
Also, the family court system incentivizes it. Women do not run the risk that men do after divorce. Women tend to come out leaving divorces in a better financial position.
And some will probably say, big truck, you saying you're doing too much. What, putting the truth in proper perspective? Letting them talk and putting it out there? You have a large number of men that go through this. Even if you flip it, you have a large number of women that go through this exact same thing. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes. But this is why we have men conversations. This is why we share. This is why we get down to the meat and bones of it. There's no more running from reality. You can't. Too much is being done right in front of our faces, enough for us to run. Nah, we're gonna stand here and we're gonna face it and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna hear from both sides. Large number of men have been quiet too long. Now you have a large number of men that are speaking up and speaking out. It's not disrespect. It's not bashing no one. I believe that both men and women should be able to share what they've been carrying in the pit of their spirit for so long. It's just that you have a large number of individuals that don't want to hear the truth. Or you male bashing, or you woman bashing. No. I'm truth exposing. In 2025, individuals going to get punished. In 2025, individuals going to be rewarded. In 2025, individuals going to be exposed for what they do and say. Everything is starting to come out in various of ways. Just being exposed. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with color. But has a lot to do with the truth being exposed and being put in its proper perspective.
And a man with the lion's share of the resources, payments, and the children. It's an incentive-based system. And why is that system this way? For marriages in the 50s and the 40s and the 50s, which we're not there anymore. Family court has not stayed up. Has not stayed up. But it's $1 billion industry that's a cash cow to the states. If women are 51% of the voting population, women aren't going to vote to overturn something that's a benefit to them. You got Mary J. Blige complaining about, I'm going broke by paying my husband alimony. But then women going, hooray! And the funny thing is women are the ones that always ask for fairness and equality. What more do y'all want?
I thought she was a strong and independent woman. I thought she had her own money. And the women were like, she don't need Iman Shumpert's money. She got her own money. All right? Sierra don't need Russell Wilson's money. She got her own money. Well, as you can see, when it comes down to it, with the fan, yes, it is in fact that, yes, they do need your money. All right? And sometimes they do attack you. They're doing it to hurt you. They're doing it to go after you and say, I'm entitled to everything that I'm worth. All right? I got to get everything that I'm worth out of this. And then they start bickering about things.
And that's when you turn into that soccer player. That's when you turn into Tom Brady. And that's when you turn into my man, a UFC fighter, and take all your assets out of your name and put them in your mama or your father or whoever, your pet name. That's how you do that. So when those situations take place, you can protect your assets and protect your peace as a man. Huh? I'm sorry? Hello? Can you hear me? Are you listening? Because at the end of the day, man got to protect his peace. At the end of the day,
things that you're like, I thought you had your own money. You can get your own money, buy your own cars, buy your own houses, buy your own, but no. Nope.
And the only reason they doing it is for profit and to make sure.
Running up the stats with another statistic. Ensnaring and entrapping another athlete. All these scallywags, harlots, strumpets, Venus fly-pit traps, and old passed-around hags got one thing in common. They know how to concoct a plan to get inside a young man's cocky attitude, break down his defenses, and get him to commit not only with a commitment ring, but bring him to his knees and fold like a cheap lawn chair, dropping out all of his DNA and squeezing out a few kids. Cause I hate to say it, the sluts with loose slits, praying mantises are out here.
That like me and my husband had threesomes before. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's willing to do that to keep a man. I'm like,
Nah.
that was all me.
Yeah.
That was all me. Like,
Yeah.
but I hate the idea of people thinking like it's always the guy that wants this, that. So she introduced you to the poly life.
This
It's like
whole-
me
yeah.
introducing that, you know what I'm saying, to my husband, and it's just like, yo, this is what I want to do. It just be those times where like we just like if we on vacation, like our anniversary, like you know what I'm saying, like it's just certain times where like, you know, like in the beginning I wanted to try it. Like I said, I'm Dora the Explorer. Like Bob, backpack, shorts, t-shirt, like, yeah.
That's
like,
not what Dora's about.
I know that's not what Dora's about, and I feel
mean,
so
she-
bad. Get away from the woman to feel like, oh, you doing it because that's what he wants. And it's like, nah,
That's not what
actually,
it is.
I run this you know what I'm saying? Like, I run this you know what I'm saying? Like,
Because we think men are the hunters, yo.
That's your first clue that this.
Yeah. So, with that being said, now you know. Now you know who divorced who. And with that being said, we're gonna tune it out for the day. We're gonna tune it out. But I definitely wanted to bring home and talk about the difference using both clips. The point to make is be honest, open, and clear about, be honest, open, and clear about who you are and what you need in a relationship from that person. Okay? You have to. You have to. You have to be honest, open, and clear about who you are and what you need from an individual when it comes to a relationship and a marriage. Some are with the whole poly arrangement marriages and some aren't. To me personally, I don't get down with all of that. If I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm married to you, I'm married to you. Rings falling off the table, making points. But at the end of the day, it's a level of respect that we have to continue to have for each other that has lost its way. I have nothing but love and respect for men and women that hold it together, that are willing to hold it together, that want to hold it together. Okay, I believe in we only gonna get married one time. I also believe in standing together side by side through the good times and the bad. I believe that. And I believe that when it comes to our household, we have an understanding that only we agree with and works for us inside of our household. I'm with that. And that's why I went ahead and I did both of these clips to show. This is what happens when a marriage is strong. It lasts long. This is what happens when a marriage doesn't last long and that is not strong. What type of foundation you building your marriage on? But what type of timeline are you on as an individual? What is your intentions as an individual coming into a relationship or marriage? People say, oh, you got to do the work. Damn that. When are you going to look at yourself? You know you have unfinished business with your past. And your childhood shows up in your love life. You know that. Why not deal with that? rather than put that on somebody else. And then when life happens, quick to throw in the towel. No, you got to deal with that. Because if you're not with this over here, it doesn't matter who you get with, who you are. If you don't deal with your past is going to deal with you. And you ain't going to like the way your past is going to show up and show out on you. Go be the best version of yourself. It's your boy, Big Truck. Thank each and every one of you for chiming in today. Broadcast, King Conversations. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, Doug King's Table. I believe I'm approaching 60,000 subscribers. Man, we doing it. We doing it. I'm also on Instagram. I'm _I am_king. And I'm also on TikTok, Truck Nation Presents. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Leave your comments. Let me know how you feeling. Put that number 1 in the chat. Put that number 1 in the comments.